Hello, everyone. Welcome back to If Plants Could Talk. This is Garrett. I'm your host. This conversation took place on July 21st, 2022, with my very special returning guest, the Cactus Jones. Trevor joined me virtually today from his home in Ventura, California. He has a gigantic and very impressive collection of Trichocereus and other cacti. He has been growing and cultivating cactus for a number of years and offers them under the name The Cactus Jones. You can go to thecactusjones.com and you can even purchase his new nutrients made out of kelp called the Jones Juice. I would highly recommend, if you're interested in hearing more about the Jones Juice, to head over to Cactus Daddy 90's Instagram page and go look through his reels and find the one where he is dressed up in a button-down shirt with a tie and he's riding a bicycle, going door to door, offering the sacrament of the Jones Juice, and even took a shot of it himself on camera. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thought it was fantastically hilarious and an accurate representation of the Latter-day Saints Church, the Church of Mormonism. So thank you, Ryan, for doing that. And Trevor, thank you for doing this episode with me. I really think you did a fantastic job, and I very much appreciate the organic flow of this conversation and how raw and vulnerable you really were. Thank you very much for everything that you do for this community. Big shout out to you, man. And I will make sure to plug links to all of Trevor's stuff in the description of this episode. I will put a trigger warning on this episode. Be careful. We talk about addiction a lot, and we talk about psychedelic substances and experiences. I want to take a moment to tell you guys about my sponsors. If you scroll down into the description of this episode, you will find links to Mezcala Nursery located in Long Beach, California, Green Touch Nursery located in Bellflower, California. Big shout out to plantly.io. You can go into your web browser and type in plantly.io, or you can go into the App Store on Android or iOS and download the Plantly app. If you're interested in becoming a vendor, I have provided a link for you to do so. You can click right down there in the description and sign up to become a vendor today. I have been selling with Plantly under the name Earthling Botanical and have thoroughly enjoyed it. I will be updating my shop ASAP. I'm working on it this week. So thank you, everyone who has continued to support this podcast. Also, if you're interested in supplementing mushrooms, there's a link to Real Mushrooms to purchase mushrooms at a discount. You get a 10% discount if you use my link or type in If Plants Could Talk at checkout. All right, everyone, here is Trevor. The Cactus Jones. Trevor, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Garrett, it's good to be back.
It's nice to have you back, man. What's been going on? What's up with the Cactus Jones in the present day today?
Well, I got my first bona fide official product endorsement. So now I've gone pro.
Nice, man. Congratulations.
I signed the contract today. It's a product called the Ultimate Fish Stick. You might it's new, it's fresh news. So I told my wife after I signed the contract, she's like, what does that have to do with cactus? And that's like the beauty of it. There's such good fish sticks and there's such broad market appeal that there doesn't need to be all that, micro targeted influencer thing. It just, everybody should know about the Ultimate Fish Stick made by Trident. I'm completely fucking with you right now, right?
Dude, I don't know, man. You never know. I got fucking random ass sponsors, that don't make sense. Like I had an underwear company reach out to me one time.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I'm like, I don't care. I'll take whatever it is, I'm down to do whatever.
I have all my cactus grafting stuff in this for some reason. I don't know why, but it just popped into my head.
I kind of thought you were joking at first, but then I was like, oh wait, that's maybe it's true because like your page is huge, and I could see why Trident, the Ultimate Fish Stick, would want to be a part of the Cactus Jones.
Hey, I could have kept going. I could be just super dry and just keep talking about Trident, the Ultimate Fish Sticks. Like I could take up 30 minutes.
I love that about you. I relate to that as well. I spend a lot of time talking about things that aren't necessarily real.
Right.
Especially on the internet, which is something you've actually been a big inspiration to me on, is like you're talking, you're narrating for sure. I appreciate that you're like willing to just be yourself and like be vocal while you're making videos and be silly and stuff. So that's definitely been a big inspiration on me. And there's been an increase in that type of content for me for sure. And you've been a part of that, man. And you've been an inspiration in many other ways, dude. And since the last time I talked to you, I have followed you very closely for sure.
Oh.
And I've enjoyed our conversations off the record as well, man.
Yeah, for sure. Especially the one a few weeks ago. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
How long were we on the phone? I don't remember. It could have, for me, it could have been, seriously, it could have been 10 minutes or an hour. I don't know.
Well, it was my whole drive home. I had just finished a ketamine session, and I would never drive home after a ketamine session. But if I did, I would talk to the Cactus Jones while I was doing it. And it was about an hour drive. We talked for 45 minutes, I think.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for entertaining me. That was good.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't outrageous or anything. You're actually very insightful and funny, and I enjoyed it. I got something out of it for sure. I like came home, I was telling my lady, dude, me and Trevor had the greatest conversation. I relate to him so much, blah, 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 blah. You know, and I would always make myself available to any fellow substance abuser over the phone or whatever. I don't care what time of night, anytime.
That was good. That was really a good, helpful conversation.
I don't remember it, but it was very helpful.
If you don't remember it, are you saying I'm saying I don't remember it, or do you not remember
yes. I'm just fucking with you, dude. I know you had to remember some of it.
All I know is that I smiled a lot,
mm-hmm.
and I was in a somewhat better mood after I got off the phone with you. So that's all I need to know.
You know what made me smile was about a week later, maybe 10 days later, you posted a reel. I think it might have been your first one back, and it was Jack Johnson upside down, I believe, and you were filming the Trico, and you had this big fucking smile on your face and a fucking sun hat, dude, and I was like, I felt it. I was like, yes, Trevor's fucking back, man.
You know what? That's what you call an acting as if post.
What does that mean? Elaborate, please.
You act as if. Like I was still pretty raw from that week, and then you know what we all do in this fake ass world, we like put these posts up that really represent a different not always, I mean, if you're authentic, most of your expression is going to be how you feel, but a lot of times, you know, we put up these things that are not quite how we're feeling, and that was like a happy post. I wasn't super happy that day.
But it was uplifting towards me. To me, it felt uplifting.
Good, because that's what I want to uplift you.
Thank you. And I'm sure to other people too, and people that didn't really know anyways, but like, dude, I know it, we like it's like only a glimpse into like the complexity of us humans by a post, whether you even express yourself authentically in a raw or not. I don't think that like someone like you is hiding. I don't want to speak for you, but like is hiding how they're really feeling. You're just, you know, expressing yourself, and
totally, yeah,
you know, I think you're very authentic.
Yeah, it's not hiding. It's just like, you know, hey, you know what? I want to feel better. So I'm going to act like I'm really happy.
Yes.
Today.
I love that, man.
Anyway, everything's good. Everything's been good since we last talked. Glad to be back on your show. I like watching your show and listening to your show.
Thank you.
And I like your show. If Plants Could Talk. By the way, I don't think I've ever told you this, but that is like the greatest name for this.
That's very sweet of you to say. No, you haven't. I don't think anyone's ever said that in that exact way.
Could there be a better name for a plant podcast than If Plants Could Talk?
Well, I'd like to elaborate on that for one moment. One, credit goes to my partner's twin. She picked the name. Two, this is not a plant podcast, and I just want I'm talking to the listeners right now and the haters. Plants, I say this all the time. Plants, these are what brought us together, guys. but this is not necessarily a plant podcast. As you can see, Trevor and I just were talking about some real deep, but also kind of we weren't really being direct, but we were talking about something very deep and challenging. And those types of conversations are the ones that I want to have, man. And your first one was one of many that I know touched a lot of people because I got feedback on it. And yeah, man, I just appreciate. I like your show, the handle, the Cactus Jones, the persona, and whatever avatar,
It's
digital
a persona slash, what is it? It's
digital
persona
avatar
slash brand.
Yeah, slash brand.
Something like that.
I love the Cactus Jones show, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And you do all this shit for kind of free, man. Like, to some extent, obviously you're running a business, but at the same time, all that content that you're putting out, you're not getting paid for that, right? And it's doing something. You're making a difference, for sure.
Yeah, it's fun is what it is, really. So you do fun stuff and you don't think about money, but there is a business behind it, which is just slowly growing. But hey, let's go back to what you were saying about getting deep, because your audience has no idea what we were talking about.
Yeah, please.
So I've decided that I'm just going to talk about it.
Do it.
And not like a me thing, me, what I did, I shit my pants kind of a me thing. It's more like a maybe other people can relate. So here we go. I'm rolling up my sleeves. See? Here we go.
Do it. Throw that metaphorical mask in the trash.
Yeah. So I have this thing where we might have talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
we did.
So.
No, we did. We did.
No. On your podcast.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, you said I'm one of those people, and we talked about Bill W. and AA and all that. Yeah.
No. That's a known thing. I don't know if I mentioned that I'm one of those people that spends 99.99% of their life sober, whether practicing sober or not, and then like once every 2 years. And I can say this now, it's a pattern. I'm 50. I've been doing this since I was 35. This pattern.
Mm-hmm.
I swear it off. I'm done. One foot in front of the other. Reboot. Then I have anywhere between a year and a half to 3 years of sobriety.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I say sobriety, I mean no alcohol, no drugs. I do consume cactus, but I'll have these long extended periods of sobriety, and then something happens that I don't like, and I go on like a 4 to 5 day binge.
Mm-hmm.
Which takes the shape of really, like get drunk the first night and then kind of just nurse beer for 4 or 5 days and watch Netflix. I don't care about plants during that time.
Yeah.
And my tortoises kind of told me, they came out and wrecked my whole garden because I forgot to like feed them.
Dude.
It was like, anyway. So I'm telling the story. Maybe people can relate. Normal people would be like, 2 steps, dude. Get over it. Stay over it. Like people that don't have a drinking problem.
Yeah.
But for me, it's thriving. I thrive and I have a good time, and I have good, strong connections with people and family. And then just have this kind of a breakdown. So what happened, I should never say what happened. What I did.
Yes.
Was, I'm a caregiver to my wife. She's 4 years into a pretty gnarly cancer battle.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot involved in that caregiving. And the Cactus Jones kind of came out of that, by the way, cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we did talk about last time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was another surprise counts to the hospital because of something going on with her that was very painful and was kind of scary looking.
Yeah.
And I just I could go on and on, but it
Please
turned
do.
into well,
As much as you're comfortable and
just
willing.
2 weeks prior to that, lost my mother-in-law, her mom,
Oh my
from
God,
cancer,
Trevor.
and she was taken into the hospital with an ulcer, same kind of cancer, ulcer
No.
on her abdomen, and it was like oh man, that ulcer is not what you think it is. Get your affairs in order, right? 2 to 3 weeks later, Carrie had this ulcer, and same type of cancer, colorectal, and it's hard to get into detail about it. But
I
anyway,
know.
big scare at the hospital. We're down in Echo Park, USC Tech Medical, and I was just like, it's so confusing because you're like deep down, you're terrified. You know, this person you love is in this treacherous place, and but for me, it manifests with this little like, oh man, I was gonna surf today for the first time in 3 months, like this like immature stuff on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
This is really hard for me to explain, but deep down, I'm terrified. I'm terrified quite often with this. And
Yeah,
anyway,
man.
I drop her off and can't go in because of COVID stuff. Turn around for the
No.
hour and a half drive home, and I see a liquor store. Boom! Right out of the blue, I just pulled over, and after 2-something years, I just did it again. I went on a 4-day binge, and I called you 2 days into that.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been day 3. And I thought about you. I think I read a post, and it was just this kind of like, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of like this. I like people that openly talk about that, not for attention, but
Yeah.
because they want to share that with other people in the hopes that other people can relate, or maybe lift some of the weight off other people's shoulders, or
Yeah.
you come from the right place. So I thought about you, and then I like texted you or something. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But then you spent that whole hour on the phone with me in your commute home. So that's what we were talking about.
Trevor,
That's
thank
what
you
you
so
were,
much, man, for having the
yeah.
courage to talk about that, dude. I know it's challenging to even just be in that, let alone have to revisit it right now. I mean, I can see it in your body language, and I myself is trying not to cry, dude, because I know I get it, and you know, I can't necessarily put myself in your shoes exactly, but like everything you just said is so bizarrely the same as my most recent relapse that it's fucking weird, dude. Like everything about it, man. Same shit.
Let's talk. Let's.
Same shit.
I'm gonna keep on going here. So let's talk about that whole. What's the buildup? I'm gonna describe where.
You saw it coming, right?
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw it coming, but in a way, I don't. Like, okay, so this time something happened. I won't get into, but a family-related thing
Mm-hmm.
that I was kind of holding on to, like 6 months ago. So 6 months ago is back at 2 years again. This is an all too familiar pattern for me, right? None of these feelings
Mm-hmm.
in this discussion is unfortunately new,
Yeah.
fresh stuff for me. But
Yeah.
so like 6 months ago, something happened. It wasn't like the end of the world kind of a thing, but it gave me this case to the fuckets.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's like this relapse.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's not about drinking, because I'm not gonna be able to drink for 6 months. I just hit it hard, and then I death drink, and then I quit. Right?
Yeah.
For me, it was like taking kratom again, starting to chew tobacco again, and just those little things. It's like, and there's a part of me that's like, you know what, I'm happier in some ways than I've ever been, aside from Carrie's cancer, I'm happier than I've ever been. Um, this cactus thing is fucking amazing. It's like a ticket to paradise.
Yes.
I turned down consulting work my whole previous life of consulting. I don't do it anymore. I brew the Jones juice and I grow these amazing plants and I sell cut to order. And I'm out here barefoot in the beach sand every day. Right. Wow. I mean, what a great existence. Like It's a good way to be for me. Right.
Yes.
So that positive thing, I kind of turn into, and that means I'm normal now too. Like the external stuff looks right.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about money.
I can do this.
I'm not worried about anything. I'm like, even my credit score is good.
Yeah.
Man, I've never gotten in trouble with the law. I've never had a DUI. With all this crazy justification, like I give myself, in a very wrong way, the license to fuck around. So that's my prelapse.
No, you're completely illuminating. You're illuminating something that I don't think people get to hear about often. You didn't just stay in that relapse. You talked about the stuff leading up to it, and that's gonna help somebody really relate and know maybe, hey, that's what's happening with me right now. Right?
Yeah. I call it a prelapse, or not. It's not my term. I'm sure somebody else came up with that, but
I like that.
But it's a lead up period.
Yeah.
And I can now look back with 2020 and go over all those times. There's always that prelapse period where, a lot of people drink and use over, when things are just shitty and too hard to bear. For me, it's when things kind of go well in some ways.
Yeah.
I get to be normal again in my mind, right? And I just love to get fucked up.
Would you argue that the normal for people like us can be, for lack of a better word, boring, or we tend to thrive in a more chaotic environment and self-sabotage, so we're not necessarily comfortable when everything's all better?
Fucking absolutely true. That is so true. And that has to do with childhood stuff and there is, so in a way there's this kind of slightly on purpose aspect to it too. I don't know. I wonder if there's a part of me that just needs to reset. Can you see me?
Yeah, I was fixing my camera. I didn't like the way it was. Part of you needs to reset.
There's a part of me that needs to reset and cause injury to myself and kind of rise from the, become a phoenix again.
Yes.
It's a weird arc that I kind of insist on doing.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm fucking 50 and I'm done, and I need to not do this once every 2 years. I need to do it once every never.
Yeah.
And that's that. So anyway, before you started recording this, I said, were we going to talk? I said, are we going to talk about that thing that happened a couple of weeks ago? And I said, probably not. You have a plant podcast. Let's just talk about plants. And you said whatever you're comfortable. You said whatever you're comfortable with, dude. And all of a sudden I just barfed all that out. So that's what I'm comfortable with.
Barf it all over me, Trevor. I'm enjoying it. I'm
pretty much done barf.
I'll drink it.
Slurp it up, baby. I'm pretty much done barfing though. I just got it all up and out. So there you go, everybody.
Thank you. Well, here, man. And it's not to justify our behaviors, because I know it can sound that way when we explain why it happened, how it happened, right? But it's certainly not to justify it. But unfortunately, what I've found in myself is that I need that too. I need to remember. I have to remember how bad it is,
Yeah.
And almost instantly, boom, I remember, oh yeah, this is not what I want. This is what I hate the most about myself, and my biggest fear. And part of that post that I wrote that you read, was also for me too, in the sense that in my head, I went on the air. I went on the fucking air. 3,
Yeah.
4 episodes like that, dude. And it might not
Oh
be
yeah.
visible to
Yeah.
everyone, but I know to some people it was, because they reached out and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I appreciate that about this community. But watching myself do that, going back, I have to watch these when I'm editing, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
And watching myself do that, especially to people that I respect, a guest that I really respect, and in my head, I can convince myself, "You fucking disrespected them. How dare you do that? You look like an idiot. You know, your ex is watching and she's going to use it against you in custody court, and this and this and this and that, right?" And so I decided, "Oh, that's it. I'm just going to kill myself. That's what I'm going to do."
Yeah.
Sorry to go really dark, but that's where it went. And that's what ended it, was the peak of that last little relapse. I decided, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to kill myself because I'm fucking hurting everyone again. I can't keep doing this. I've been off and on for the last 6 months after 3 years of recovery as well. And all the same kind of shit happened without specifics. It's all the same exact shit. Cancer, my kid getting sick, like boom, boom, one thing after another, economic hardship, the fucking world's on fire. Fuck it, dude. I don't care anymore, you know? And thankfully, my partner stayed with me. She stayed back from work. She stayed back from work because she saw it. And that was the wake up that I needed. And it sucks that I had to put everybody through all that. But at the same time, I'm somewhat grateful for it, because it needed to happen, man. Like I'm happier today than I was leading up to it. And, you know,
that's part of
we're
that,
able to have this
weird
conversation because of it.
that's part of that weird reset. It's this like a violent reminder of what is important and what you want out of this world, right? It sounds so stupid because you already have the wisdom. You already know. We already know what's going to happen if we do it again.
Yeah.
But in a weird, I don't know, subconscious way, you got to feel those feelings. You got to feel the pain or something. So you have something to you have some context again. I don't know. I don't know. It's really fucked up. But I understand where you're coming from.
But this one nonetheless was memorable, though, right? For you, for me, I know it had to have been memorable. Of course, the other ones are memorable as well. But like when you have built all this greatness, right? And despite hardship, you know, like things are good, like you said, and you know, life is thriving, the plants are thriving, whatever, you're thriving, and it's just, it makes you really cherish what you have, right? And hopefully it's the only time that it needs to happen again, because we're in a different period of growth. And I don't know, I very much cherish my family and what I have today, and I don't want to lose that. And I guess, you know, that's what it did, was it showed me you're this close to losing everything. Throw my business off of a fucking cliff, throw my podcast off a cliff.
It can all just be gone so fast.
Well, thank God that we have the support that we need to overcome, you know, because if we didn't have our partners and when we didn't have people that were in the community that are checking us, we would just keep going. Right?
Yeah. And it's to have this venue it's great. It's a great opportunity for me to, well, you know, like when you do that and you thrive, you go through these periods of thriving and everything, and then you do what I did, you feel like a fraud.
Yes.
So in a way, to get on here and just start talking about this, I don't know. I feel like I'm less of a fraud or something.
It's something you said to me before we move on, though. That's something you said to me in that phone call, was the Cactus Jones is just some fake ass persona. I'm a fraud and everybody knows it. I'm just going to stop. I'm done. I'm done with the cactus thing. It's not even real. Like all this shit. And I was just listening.
Did I really say that?
Yeah, dude. I was just like laughing inside. Like
I gotta say that I do not remember saying that.
Yeah.
I was hammered when we talked, and in my waking life, I really don't feel like that. I feel might have been trying to be funny when I said it, but my drunk funny is kind of hard to get. But I do feel really aligned with this whole Cactus Jones
Yes,
thing.
I believe that.
Like it's not just something I enjoy. It's kind of a day-to-day salvation in a way. I love it.
Part of your recovery too, right?
Maybe though, I said that because when we did this podcast last time, I was like, yeah, talking about sobriety, right? Because I was a year and a half in the sobriety when we did that podcast. If that was like a year ago, how long ago was that?
It was a little bit over a year ago, yeah. About 14 months, 15 months ago.
So I was like doing the whole, talking about being right sized and these plants help me do this and and be in the moment and all that stuff. I think maybe that's where the fraud part comes in, because I even had that conversation with you publicly.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah,
I deleted my episode with my story when I was using, because I decided the same thing. I'm a fucking fraud. None of everything I said counts anymore. Right? And I deleted it because I don't want people to think I'm just lying, hypocrite, fraud.
Yeah.
And I reposted it when I got clean and in video instead of just audio. And that was like liberating for me, man. So I get it, dude. I know you don't mean that, and I know that plants are a huge part of your life.
It gives you like imposter syndrome.
Yes.
For me, it's like I have these long periods of time where I don't even think that way, and then I have like a week or two of imposter syndrome right after I do my damage, right? Where nothing makes sense. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Nothing makes sense.
So, how have the plants been a part of this healing journey that you're on again, and or continue to be on? How are the plants? What's going on with the plants? One, I'm a huge fan of the Jones juice, just the idea behind it, the name, the idea behind using kelp, and because kelp is such an amazing plant, I guess. And also, big shout out to Cactus Daddy, dude. Ryan's so fucking funny, man. He made that Mormon video, and I was dying, dude. I was like, this is the perfect advertisement for the Jones juice, man.
Awesome. I know. I'm like, dude, you got free juice for life after that.
Right?
He was just over here the other day. I don't even put the label on it anymore. I just like give him the jug and hand it over.
Yeah, man.
What was the question?
It was how are the plants part of this?
Oh,
how are you? How's the business? How's the Jones juice going? I don't know.
The all of it is good. The business is really going well. I don't know. It's just really good. It's so funny to even be talking about, well, how we just spent the last 20 minutes or whatever talking about this stuff when everything is going so great. Right?
Yeah.
And we just like, we self-sabotage. Right? Business is going really well. Last week we were down in, my wife and I are looking at farm properties. Kids are about to be out of the house. By the way, the kids were not in the house when I did my thing. That was part of the opportunity I seized. I dream every day about this farm, this Cactus Shangri-La that I'm going to build. And it's not a dream that's like, I'm going to just keep dreaming on it. It's like, it's happening. Right.
Yeah.
And it's so great to like have this thing that you mull over that puts a smile on your face. I'm thinking about it like all the time.
Yes.
Like a quarter acre of just Ogun, so business is great. Carrie stopped working, so the Cactus Jones is really the sole source of income in this household. And it's a really great way to it's like I call it anti-fragile, right? With all my stuff that I've started and just being a consultant and all my previous work history, this is the most anti-fragile way to make a living.
Yes.
Barring some kind of a ice storm that comes and kills all the plants or something here in Southern California.
Yeah, you don't have to call out.
Yeah. It's like perfect climate and having a platform where people are interested in what you're doing, and you don't have to spend money on marketing, and you're selling something people want for various reasons. They want these amazing plants.
Yes.
And it's a really great way to be. And then the Jones juice is doing well. I was joking about the fish sticks earlier, but there is a product partnership coming up that I'm about to announce.
Do it.
It's going to be sold in much smaller bottles. It's kind of a funny thing though, because it's been so much hustle to collect that kelp. By the way, right now, beaches are covered in fresh kelp. So I just did a big haul yesterday because there's a big south swell. It's actually still going on, and it just tore up all this kelp and just put it on the beach.
Nice.
So it's kind of a hustle. Like I hired a crew to help me with it, but it's like I got to figure out another way to do it and still keep it organic, because I can't. It's not a scalable business. I can only make a certain amount of it. And I don't want to do the kind of kelp that other manufacturers are making that kind of skunks out after a few weeks.
Yeah. And
you don't really know what's in it. And most of that's not fermented. So the Jones juice has a shelf life because of the fermentation, but it's a lot of work. And I'm trying to figure out, well, now I have to figure out with this latest product partnership, how to scale it. How to scale it without cheating,
without selling out.
Yeah. Well, I don't care about selling out. I care about
losing the authenticity of it.
Right. I mean, I want to sell out and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I care about just having a shitty product.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I haven't really figured it out yet. Like, how am I going to do this? I could do part my kelp and then get concentrate from the East Coast and blend it with my kelp. It's like, well, let's just put it this way. The Jones juice is going so well that it's not fun anymore.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
The plants are great. The best headspace I've been in was about 5 months ago, before I got that case of the fuckets. Before this thing happened with family, whatever my excuses for it, but
yeah,
was the last time I consumed. I'm like due for a ceremony. I would have gone out into nature and had a ceremony or done it here, but I just haven't been I just have felt like I'm not in the right space for it, but there's that whole aspect of these plants that
yes,
is just, it goes forever. I mean, it goes forever. There's so many dimensions to Trichocereus.
One of the many amazing qualities of the plant.
Yeah.
I did a little ceremony last night myself, and another one about a week ago out in Topanga. And we are one, you and I, man, and everyone listening. We're all one. And dude, I've stumbled upon the most amazing place, and we're on the same path. We're looking at land, and definitely going to be making a move very soon and doing the same types of things, because I think people like us don't belong in the Matrix, and we don't do well in those traditional work settings. It's just not natural for us.
Right.
I personally still work in a store, in a grocery store, but I love it. And it's just I get to make my own schedule now. Like I get to pick the hours, work as little or as much as I want to. So it's perfect for somebody like me. And I'm selling plants and all that and doing this. I'm hoping that this becomes more monetary than it is now. It's pretty minimal at the moment.
Yeah.
So shout out to everyone that wants to sponsor the Jones juice. And if plants could talk, we're right here waiting for you.
Wait, would they sponsor If Plants Could Talk or Earthling Botanical?
No, I would want If Plants Could Talk. I'm Earthling Botanical has been kind of neglected. I would like to engage in it more. It's a goal of mine right now. It's something kind of set to the side, but I've been focused on trying to grow this. And there's a lot of people out there that are making a living podcasting. So if that's my dream, is to I've just had the fundraiser, so I've got all this new equipment, and I'm gonna do in person. I'll be able to come to you next time, hopefully, and I'll be a little closer because I'm gonna be in Topanga, hopefully. And there's a lot of people doing that, and I've had some sponsors. I've turned some down. I have some currently, and I just want it to feel right and to be able to do this. If I was making a living off of it, I'd be doing it 3 days a week, probably something like that. But yeah, man. And then my lady has her stuff too, and she works in the Matrix. She's all kinds of creativity and her own businesses and stuff, and it's just life is headed in a good direction.
Plants.
You're frozen for a moment. What was that?
You're looking at acreage for growing plants?
Acreage for growing plants, having ceremonies. I'm a counselor, so I'm trying to use that. I don't like the traditional substance abuse treatment. I think that it's nearly useless to some degree. The success rate is very poor, and I would like to have an alternative path that many people. It's not a new idea, but I would like to use my own personal experience and have a little bit been facilitating those kinds of things, those kinds of experiences in the house, and we'll continue to. I'm offering those services now. I haven't announced it on the podcast, but here we go. I'm offering psychedelic therapy in both the spiritual sense or in the more like mental health aspect, and utilizing my counseling experience to do that, and will provide overnight housing and meals and facilitate that. And if you're more interested in the more spiritual type of stuff, I have a more shamanistic friend that's very close to me that we all know and love, and he will gladly be a part of that. I know that for sure. So there it is. If you're interested, I know that with the big psychedelic renaissance right now, and I would love to collaborate with you in that aspect too, and utilize Wachuma and other medicines. But that's the direction I'm heading, is to get out of the matrix and heal myself and others.
Beautiful.
Sounds like you're on the same path, man.
I am. There's a whole, and the world's opening up to it.
Yes.
Too bureaucratically slowly.
Yeah, way too slowly, but it's okay.
But it's happening.
With that new Netflix thing, is like, I've had so many people reach out to me. People thought I was in it because I was in the MDMA study. So I had 3 different people say, "Hey, were you in that new Netflix special?" We're talking about How to Change Your Mind with Michael Pollan. I'm like, no, I wasn't in it, but I was in the study. People that you wouldn't expect are showing interest.
Episode 4 is the mescaline one, and I love the way it starts out. Michael Pollan. It's Michael Pollan, right? Yeah.
Yes.
He's talking about Oakland. Well, he's talking about the weirdness of how these plants are legal.
Yeah.
And you'll see them all over the place, and especially PC, Pedro. You see it everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's really just impossible to regulate.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a really good starting point for this, for the mescaline episode. And then as soon as somehow you have intention, the intention is what's illegal. That's when it becomes illegal, is when you have this cactus, but if you think about the cactus as anything more than landscape decoration, you've broken a law.
Right.
You know.
As soon as you break it down and process it or consume it, right? That's when the gray area kicks in.
That's right. Or talk about it, or talk about the potency of it, or do a lab test. Or
Yeah, you can't research it. You can't even research it.
Can't even research it.
That's bonkers, dude. That's insane that we could criminalize a freaking plant. I mean, come on. It grows from the earth. It's the earth's, not ours.
We can't get into that conversation because it's been had too many times. It's so boring by this point.
Know.
But,
I know.
But it. But he framed it perfectly, and then he talks about mescaline bringing you closer to reality. Although that was a recurring theme throughout all the episodes.
Yeah.
But I feel that way about these plants. It's like hey, okay, so dude, you got a drinking problem? Well, why do you want to monkey around with things that change your consciousness? Just stay clear, stay clean, right? Don't complicate things, right? And one thing that he says, which is so true to me, is that mescaline and certain other psychoactive psychedelic substances bring me closer to reality, because
yes,
to me, that feeling of connection is reality.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling of I am you and you are me, and we're just kind of trapped in these different little meat puppets, but we're experiencing the same thing, and we're all one ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you're on mescaline and you're looking at you're staring at tadpoles out in a creek, and you feel connected to those tadpoles in a totally different way. To me, that is reality.
Yes.
And that connection is also the opposite of or I'll say disconnection is the opposite of sobriety.
Yes.
So I'm not. Yeah. So
yes.
So yeah, to me, that's the opposite of sobriety, is that disconnection. That watching Netflix, sipping a beer on day 3, walled off from the world. That disconnection, or even if you're not actively using it, we go through the day with these feelings of disconnection.
Yeah, almost robotic.
And,
autopilot.
Yeah. And so he just nailed it down so well, how these substances, which they're not naturally in our bodies, but they bring us closer to a certain kind of reality, a reality that if we embraced, we would be so much freer and happier on a day-to-day.
I would argue that consuming a cactus that grows from the earth is exactly reality, and the experiences that you have after eating the cactus or whatever is reality. That's real.
And sometimes that reality,
it's not fake. It's not pretend, right?
And sometimes that reality, and saying reality in those experiences, has nothing to do with fun and shitty or happy and sad
or partying.
No, I mean, no, I'm saying
your camera's off.
Wait, hold on.
There you
go. Well, I wasn't expecting them to use my iPhone, and I'm going to be out of juice fairly soon. But
we got 9 minutes on the general time clock. Anyways.
Okay, I might have to just use up those 9 minutes and get off. What was I saying? Something really profound.
Saying something very profound. Yes. Talking
what
about.
Was I saying?
We were talking about how these experiences are reality, and they're not necessarily this.
I was saying not. I've had experiences with mescaline where there's some real working. It's hard work.
Yeah.
It's not. I've never done it to have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a phenylalanine, so it's like there is that euphoria, and that there is a recreational aspect to mescaline, more so than psilocybin and LSD that I've experienced.
Yeah.
But it's hard work sometimes, and so the experiences we're talking about aren't always fun and good.
Yeah.
They're just needed.
Yes.
There are things you need to experience because you took this, you consumed this plant with the right intention. Hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
you can't control the outcome, but you need the process.
I would like to talk about the lack of research that you touched on earlier, just for one moment, because um, as they outlined in How to Change Your Mind, mescaline is very, very similar, almost identical chemically, when you look at the actual like chemical itself, to MDMA. And because of a lack of research, MDMA has been able to, because it's synthesized and whatever, now it's been given FDA breakthrough status. On the other hand, though, mescaline hasn't quite had as much research as MDMA has. But due to the fact, I would argue, due to the fact that the chemical compound is so similar and the effects people report are very similar, let's look at the statistics of the people that participated in the MDMA study. 67% no longer fit PTSD diagnosis anymore. And essentially, in other words, they have been cured, which is a strong word that I don't like to use. But after those 3 sessions, that's what they found, is that 67%. So I would think and hope that you could find those same kind of, maybe even better results with mescaline.
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't it funny that while MDMA has not been researched that much, it's still been researched more than this naturally occurring.
Right. Much more.
Mescaline. I think if you draw out the molecule on paper, it looks similar, and you're going to lay them over each other, they're similar, but the effects are very different.
Yeah.
In a few ways, obviously, but you can feel the relationship they have to each other when you take it. If you're familiar with both, it's that hyper empathy.
Yeah.
Hyper's not a good word.
That love.
Deepened empathy for yourself and others, and or love for yourself and others, and in a way where you feel properly adjusted, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a chiropractor fixing something out of whack.
Yeah, man.
And it's a really important substance that we have.
Well, thank you for providing this cactus to so many people, and this wealth of knowledge and information and perspective and your experiences, because, man, we need more of that. I'd like to see more of it. And you are a fantastic example of the people behind these things, the types of people behind these. Yes, there are, as Vincent Strongwinds Array said, there's wolves in sheep's clothing in this realm. You are not one of them. And I foresee a future that for you that I would love to be a part of, and just very grateful for your existence and everything that you're doing, and for this episode. And Daddy Vanilla, I hope you're listening. I think we topped the first one. He said, I don't think you guys can top the first one. I think we did. Shout out to Daddy Vanilla in Australia, man, and all the Australian listeners. It's a big, large listenership in Australia, especially with you, because of Trichocereus.
Right on. I love all this stuff that comes out of Australia. In my realm, Trichocereus realm, those are the masters down under.
They have Garrett, it good over there with the laws and stuff like that.
The laws are better, but in the climate, the whole thing. They do so much great stuff with Trichocereus. Big love to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. The Cactus Jones. You guys can find him on Instagram. You can go to thecactusjones.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. Oh, PayPal just shut us down.
Fuck them.
Yeah, no, I know, for selling these demonic plants, actually.
Yes.
So
I was kicked off Etsy for the same thing. Lost almost all my business.
Yeah. So this is like something I've been going through. So right now it's just Venmo and Zelle, even though I got to say this for the record and leave this in the podcast, I sell plants for collection.
Yes.
the vast majority of people that buy my plants are
Ornamental.
people that want to collect them because they're amazing.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm going to say it again. Thank you so much. Big love to you, Garrett. I'm glad you're in my world.
I'm glad you're in all of our world too, man. All right, everyone. The Cactus Jones. If everyone could please like, review, and subscribe to the podcast and hit that share button, we would both appreciate that greatly. Stick around for a second. Bye.